Hey everyone, it's that Blue Abarth here and welcome back to another video. So, as you can probably see, I'm not in the Abarth today, nor am I in the E-Class either. We're actually in quite a different car indeed, and that's because we're doing another car review. And that's right guys, we've got another car to well, look over today. And well, it's one that you'll probably know, to be honest, and taking a look around, it's probably quite familiar, as it's, well, quite a common car indeed, but this one is definitely different for sure. So, without any further ado, we'll jump outside and we'll get started right away. Alright everyone, so here we are at Beechwood Farm yet again, and here is the Citroen C1. So as I said, inside the car, it's a very common car. It's a car of the people really, but to be honest, this one is very different indeed, also like I said at the start. So as we probably all know, Citroen C1 is a very nice little car indeed. It's one of those little runarounds that suit all purposes, well, for anyone that wants to buy one really, because hey, they're very cheap, but not for a reason either. I mean, everyone usually clowns on French cars for being not very reliable, but hey, this one has nearly 190,000 miles on it and still has original parts from factory. All we've changed is the air filter, and that didn't even need doing. So these cars are literal troopers, and they can do anything without even needing to be fixed after a certain amount of time, which is very impressive indeed. And that's one of the biggest positives of these cars, in which we'll also talk about some other positives later on in the video as well. But for now, we'll just go over, you know, the basic overview of the car. So walking around it, it's a very nice little shape indeed. And I'm just going to move out of the way here because I don't really want to get run over, guys. That wouldn't be very good at all. And back we go. So, as we can see, it's a very nice little shape indeed. It has some sporty elements actually, and that is because, well, it's also a VTR Plus model, which is basically the top of the range for the C1 models, and it's very nice indeed. It's a four-door, it's got nice little sporty accents and bits on it, but this car isn't actually stock at all. So my best friend owns it, and we've done a few things to it, and it looks very nice indeed. We've done sporty black trims. We've also got a aftermarket wing, which actually I say aftermarket, but we pulled it off of another Citroen and then put it on top, and it looks really good. I really dig it. And overall, from someone that, you know, loves cars and has a passion for cars, I think this is a really sick looking car. I think it's really cool. It's sporty, and you know, it does the job of being, well, a tidy, nice little car. So I believe inside this car we have a 1.2 NA engine, and well, it's quite nippy, you know, even without a turbo, it's quite good indeed. It gets the speeds it needs to, and well, gets them quite well too. So in terms of the rest of the car, it's, well, as you can see, it is a four-door, and well, it looks small on camera, or maybe it doesn't actually, but it's actually quite a big car, just like the Abarth. It's kind of a TARDIS in a way. It's quite big on the inside, and even the boot area, which I shall open for you now. Oh, actually, there's a cool little button here actually that opens the boot. So as we can see, it's got quite a big boot area actually. There's some things in here already, and as you can see, it stores it no problem. I mean, we actually have a proper parcel shelf as well, which, yeah, that would be nice if I had one too, but hey, either way, I mean, it's crazy that, you know, a car like this has a bigger parcel shelf than an Abarth, but hey, doesn't matter, it's all good. But yeah, that's another positive of this car, guys, is that there's so much boot capacity. It's fantastic for a small car like this one. And for the rest of the car as well, I mean, going back onto the design, as you can see from the back, it is quite a sporty, nice little design. I really like the little lights on either side. I think they look really cool. And we've also got, as well, as you can see, the C1 VTR Plus badge, which obviously lets you know it's the sportiest model of the range. I mean, I believe this model has around, I'm not really sure of the horsepower figures because, well, I've never really looked at this car myself, but probably anywhere from 80 to 100 brake horsepower, which for a car that doesn't have a turbo is very impressive indeed. But if you guys do know the exact power figures of this car, then just let me know in the comments below, because hey, I'm eager to learn stuff about these cars, because, well, it's not one of my specialties really, Citroens, so hey, it'll be good to know as much as possible. Moving on from the rest of the car, we also do have some nice black accents around, and usually all black cars don't usually work, but for this one in particular, all the black accents along with the black trims as well I think work really, really nicely. It's a nice little combination, and it's just very, very tidy indeed. I mean, these rims are actually from, I believe it's Halfords. They're 5-spoke trim wheels, they're about 20 quid, which for a car like this, it just upgrades the styling of it by a massive amount. I mean, this car looks very, very nice in person and on camera actually as well, just looking through the screen here. So it's very, very nice indeed. And as I said, for a 190,000 mile car and a 2010 one as well, this is such a clean example. I mean, we've got some little you know, marks and scratches here and there, but that's going to happen, guys. I mean, that always happens. It happens on mine, and I've only done 27,000 miles. No, actually 30,000 miles, sorry. I'm thinking of the E-Class. But yeah, so scratches are going to happen. But if we actually just catch the sun here, and if we just go in close, I don't know if that's picking up on camera, we can see how we have a really lovely little like fleck in the paint here. Now, I believe it's sort of like hyacinth red for Mercedes, you know, it's like a Designo type colour, and all the other Citroen C1s and Peugeot models that I see never have this type of paint. So I believe this is probably actually an optional extra for this car, and it just looks really, really nice indeed. Now, all we've done to get that great fleck out of the paint was literally just to polish it and wash it, and didn't take that much at all, and it looks fantastic. The paint is properly popping, and it is really nice indeed. I really dig this paint for sure. And so yeah, if you guys do really want a VTR Plus model, I suggest going for the black colours, because the fleck is just, as I said, really, really nice indeed. I absolutely love that. And with the wing as well, I think that really suits the car like just a lot, because there is 2 wings that you can purchase for these models, because, well, Peugeot and Citroen and even Toyota all make the same car. So as you guys will probably have seen knocking around town and stuff like that, there are many, many models of this car. Now, for the Peugeot version, it's the 108, but obviously the Citroen is the C1, and it's basically the same car but with a different badge and front bumper, which I'll put on the screen here right now for you to see. And to be honest, I actually prefer the Citroen version a lot more. I think the front is a lot tidier, and I don't know, the Peugeot one, I don't know, it's just got a massive daft grin on it, which I don't know, I'm not really a fan of. I do like it, I do think it looks kind of cool, but I think this one just looks a lot tidier and just a lot more organised in a way, I suppose. I don't know if that's the right word, but it just looks a lot nicer in my opinion. And if you guys are probably wondering why that front plate is so clean for a 10-year-old car, then it's because we actually got a new plate made for it. And like I said, just with the trims, it upgrades the styling of the car very, very much and makes it look even cleaner than it already is. Alright people, here we are on the inside of the Citroen C1 VTR Plus, and I must say it's very smart indeed. It's very organised in here, and that's what I really like about these cars, is the fact that it's so nicely laid out. Everything is where it needs to be, nothing is too complicated. It's just a very nice car indeed. And well, as we can see, we've got very nice controls and yeah, laid out very, very nicely indeed. It's just very simple to understand and work out, which is what I really like about this car. It's not too overcomplicated, it's not trying to be something it isn't, it's just a very nice car indeed. Now, moving on to the interior details, we have some very nice ones indeed, especially the speedometer and the rev gauge. Now, this car revs to about 8,000 RPM, probably max 6 to be honest, but that's quite good for a car like this. And plus, this car reaches 110 miles per hour. I mean, I reckon it could probably do that. I mean, some cars do struggle to reach their top speed, but for a car without a turbo to reach that amount of, you know, miles per hour is absolutely crazy. I mean, I'll say it again, guys, and probably many times as well, this car does not have a turbo, which is crazy. So the fact that it can reach that speed and rev to 6,000 is pretty cool. I mean, I also found out what the horsepower figure is. My friend did provide that stat for me, and it's 68 to 78 brake horsepower. I'm not sure if it depends on year and model, but I definitely know the VTR Plus has around that figure, meaning 78 brake horsepower for a car like this is very impressive indeed. It's enough, you know, especially for city driving and motorway driving, which we'll get into a little bit later. It's great indeed. It's all you need. Now, I also like the fact that the binnacle is painted same to the, you know, the body colour, which is cool. I'll try and get that in a shot here. So it's actually the same colour on the binnacle as it is on the body on the exterior, which is really sick, meaning you could polish and clean the binnacle and get that same lovely fleck on the inside as you would on the outside, which is fantastic. I really, really like that. And one really awesome little thing that I always used to notice in the past on these cars was the rev gauge. Now, I always used to think that it was a turbo gauge because, well, when you rock up to the side of it or look at it from a distance, it really does look like a turbo gauge, and you know, it fools the eye, which is kind of cool, but it's actually the rev gauge, which still is really, really cool. I think that's a nice little layout, and it looks pretty sporty. I mean, you know, it makes it you know, look a lot more like a VTR Plus model, which is really, really cool, and you can get that on any of them, so you're not missing out. And well, as we can see, we've also got little Joe hanging out in here. It's actually my friend's, because I did convince him to buy one, and you know, always gotta love a little Joe air freshener. And I'm actually just trying to see here. I think it's plastic on the vents, which still is fine. Very, very nice little gloss black plastic. And it's also got the Fiat type of carbon fiber material in the dashboard and all around us as well. Really cleans up nicely this car. It's very simple to clean as well. And it's just really, really nice in here. I can't get over how nicely laid out it is. And we've also got body colored door panels, like all over them is just paint, which is excellent. And just like I said, for the binnacle, polish that up and you'll get that fantastic fleck in it as well, which is just great. Means you can have the exterior and interior shining like mad and just looking really, really clean indeed. As for the rest of the interior, I like the steering wheel. It's, like I said, simple and not too overcomplicated and not trying to be something it isn't. And it's just really, really nice. I think it's simple, but it still looks pretty cool. I mean, we've got a nice little design here with little indents inside the steering wheel. We've also got the horn logo and stuff like that. It's just really, really nice. It's just, well, just nice. That's all I've got to say. Probably going to say nice quite a few times because it is just that. And moving on to the rest of the car, as you can see, oh, we've got something serious here. Now, my friend is actually getting quite a bit into his car now. I've convinced him to buy some stuff for it, and look at that. He has gone for the camouflage type of sandy bride gear gator and a very nice Sparco looking gear shifter, which together looks fantastic. It looks sort of like mine, but instead with a different gear stick on the top, and it looks fantastic. I really dig this combo, and I'm so glad he's gone for it because it just looks fantastic. It's so awesome to look at, and it's proper sturdy too. I mean, the stock gear shifter, which I'll try and find a picture of and put on screen, it's also not too bad at all. But come on, when you have the option to buy this from Amazon, why wouldn't you? I mean, it's probably like 10 quid, 15 quid altogether, and you get that awesome, savagely nice looking, well, gear stick display, which I absolutely dig and recommend that to anyone. And I mean, hey, if Bride could sponsor me, that would be amazing, because I recommend these just to anyone at all who wants a very cool looking gator. As for the rest of the interior layout, as I said, very, very nice indeed. You've got your hazard button, you've got a nice little radio system, and we've also got an eject button down here, which was added by yours truly, and it was just really, really cool. I think the whole car is just really nice. And something we'll also move on to in a minute is the amount of compartments in this car. It's insane. For such a small car, you can put so many things in so many areas. It's really, really cool. Now, look at these seats too, actually. These are really sporty looking, and I'll put them in a bit more detail when we're outside the car, but they look really, really nice. Like, it's a split material from this foamy to leather type, you know, combination, and it's stitched as well, as you can see. It's really, really cool. I dig these seats a lot. They're really comfy as well. Currently, the one I'm sat in is the driver's seat, obviously, and it's just really, really soft and comfortable to sit in. And yeah, I just absolutely dig this interior. I think it's really nice, really simple and proper cool. I've also got those like Japanese Gundam type style windows, the way they open, like they go like that instead of opening downwards, and it's just so cool in here. So we'll move on to the outside and we'll get on to the positives and negatives of this car, because that is the main information you guys will probably want to hear. So I'll see you in a second. Okay, and here we are on the outside again, and well, the next section is probably the most important one, really, and is probably the one you want to know the most, and that is positives and negatives, which, to be honest, I think it's just going to be positives. I can't find a single negative about this car. Well, there is one, but we'll get onto that in a second. We'll just do the positives for now. So, positives. I mean, the styling is fantastic, and the modability of this car is also great. I mean, the trims, the wing, and all the different stuff that you can do to this car, the list is endless, and by the end, the result is just really, really nice indeed. I mean, especially with the wing and stuff. I mean, an exhaust is a little bit difficult due to there being no, well, cutout for the car, so I guess that's a negative, but hey, we'll come back to that in a second. But for the rest of the car, the modability, like I said, is absolutely great. Interior and exterior, there's so much that you can do with this car. Moving on, we also have parking. This car is fantastic due to its size being small, but not... Actually, it's not that small, but it's small enough to get into any parking space it wants. It's just like the Abarth. Literally swing it into the space and you're done. It's so easy to park, and that's why it's so great as well. Due to its size, it's just so easy to drive about. And that's another thing as well. When driving this around, it can fit in so many small gaps that other cars probably can't. I mean, I would say this is the same size as the Abarth. Maybe, I don't know, I think it's a little bit smaller, but still kind of similar size. But just like the Abarth, it can get anywhere, no problem at all. Another positive is the amount of storage compartments in this car. Now, as we saw in the boot earlier, there was a couple things in there, but it handles it so well. There's literally no room to, well, struggle really, because it just fits in so well. If we just take another look here, you can see that it literally just takes it no problem at all, which is why I really like these types of cars. They're compact, but can fit so much in it without even needing to, you know, hassle or fight it. It's just great. And in terms of the back seat capacity, there's quite a lot too. I won't put the seats down for now because I don't really want to mess with the car. Obviously, it's not mine, so I don't want to be rude and tamper with it. But as you can see, there's quite a lot of space indeed, meaning it's a fantastic car for transporting stuff in the boot and in the back seats. And also, in terms of the capacity-wise for passengers, it's also very good as well, which we'll just walk around to now. And I mean, that's another positive in itself too, the four-door aspect. I mean, with it being a four-door, it's fantastic. Literally, you can get in the back, no problem. There's quite a lot of seat leeway as well, which we'll close this door here. Again, we don't want to get run over. That won't be very good at all. But yeah, so you can move the seat forward and backward, and there's quite a lot of leg room. Well, I don't think I can sit in it at the moment due to the seat being quite all the way back. But if we just open the door here and move the seat forward, it goes all the way to there, which is fantastic, meaning in the end, another car coming past. It's a bit busy today, guys, don't know why, Monday afternoon, but hey ho. So yeah, if we just sit in the back here, I mean, look at that. There's absolutely tons of leg room, and I'm sat in here no problem. There's tons of space for my elbows and the rest of my body too. It's great. There's just absolutely tons of space in here. It's like a little TARDIS, honestly. It's so similar to the Abarth and the Fiat 500 in terms of space and room and capacity. It's fantastic. And you could probably move this seat quite a bit backwards as well and still have tons of leg room to work with. So yeah, that's another positive in itself. Starting to spit a bit here, guys, but that's fine. We'll still trooper on just like the car. So another positive would be the MPG figures, as due to this being a 1.2 litre NA, the MPG is just fantastic. There's literally probably, I would say, about 60 MPG for this car to work with. So you fill her up to the top, you're getting everywhere with it really, no problem at all. So that's definitely a massive positive when it comes to a car like this, and it's just absolutely fantastic. Now, there are so many positives I can probably list off, but I think that's the main ones really. Just space, capacity, driving style, the size, the styling, the modability. I'm literally counting on my other hand here, guys, because there's so many. And just the overall aspect of the car and the way it can be used is just a massive positive. Now, there's about, if we just look here, there's probably about 8 storage compartments on the interior, meaning you could fit absolutely everything into it, no problem, and still probably have more space to work with. So it's just great, and I've been in this car a few times as a passenger, and it's so smooth. The way this thing drives about is so nice. Literally no lag, no hard suspension like the Abarth. It's just a soft and smooth ride. I'd compare the ride to a Mercedes, honestly. It's really nice. It goes over potholes and bumps, and it's just no problem at all. I absolutely love this little thing. I just think it's really sick. Now, in terms of negatives, like I said, there really isn't any. Maybe size is a problem for taller people, as my friend is 6'4", so he does have a little bit of a problem getting in and fitting, but to be honest, it's not too bad. He does have a lot of leeway with the seat, like you've seen, so he can fit in, but to be honest, it's not that big of a problem because, well, I've had input from him before, and he said it's not that bad. So even if you are quite a tall person, you could still fit in this car, no problem at all. Now, the other negative, I guess it's a really minor thing really, but if you wanted to mod the car, I suppose there isn't any cutout for the bumper in the back, meaning you can't exactly put an exhaust on it, but that doesn't matter because, hey, look at the back of it already. It's clean, it's nice. Why would you want to mess with it? So yeah, I guess that isn't really a massive negative at all, or even a negative anyway. So yeah, just the size, I suppose, for taller people. Apart from that, this car is an absolute it's just great. There's not really many other words to describe it as, but just a great little car for everyone to use. I mean, it's cheap as chips, and literally anyone can afford it and use it, and I would recommend it to anyone who needs a car like this because it's just great. I would say it's probably the best out of the three because there's the Toyota Aygo and the Peugeot 107, but I would say the Citroen C1 is the best out of all three of them in terms of styling, as the rest of them are a little bit different from this one. So yeah, I'd go for the Citroen all day long. And everyone usually, like I says, clowns on the reliability of French cars, but this one is absolutely fine. No problems with it at all. Like I said, it's got factory parts in it. Probably the radiator and some little tiny parts have been changed, but the main big components like engine and gearbox are still factory, guys. That says a lot. So if you really want a good, reliable car, this is the one to go for. And I mean, look at the styling of it. Like I've said many times, it's so nice. £5 for the wing, 20 quid for the trims. It's a no-brainer. Now, in terms of competition, well, I'll probably get on with that inside the car since it is raining a little bit harder now. So yeah, I'll meet you on the inside to talk about some of the competitors. All right, so back on the inside now, and of course, we've come inside and it stopped raining. That's just typical. But anyway, so the competitors to this car, that's probably another main important thing to go over, because hey, you want to know which ones are best to buy and which ones to compare against and stuff like that. So probably the first biggest rival, I would say, is its Japanese brother, the Toyota Aygo. Now, the Aygo is, like I said, pretty much the same car. The only difference is, well, the exterior styling, as it's got a Toyota front bumper and rear bumper. But apart from that, it's pretty much the same car. It might have a little bit more variation in terms of the specifications, but really it's just the same car. You line these two up next to each other, take a look on the inside, and it's just the exact same, which is fine because, I mean, it gives you a little bit more variation to choose from. But to be honest, I wouldn't really call it a rival. It's just a Japanese version of this car, and well, like I said, it's just the same. If we wanted to talk about actual proper different rivals from different brands, then the ones I would probably put this car up against is the Fiat 500, the Volkswagen Up, and well, probably the Corsas and stuff like that. I would probably, you know, say about the Hyundai i10 and stuff like that, but to be honest, those cars are kind of newer than this one, so it'd be kind of unfair to put against. Though, to be honest, I would actually rate this car more than some of its newer counterparts, just like the i10 and all that, because the i10 is super small, along with the Up as well, meaning you can buy this car for probably cheaper than those two cars combined and get more space, more compartments to put your stuff in, and just an overall better buying experience and ownership experience too. So in terms of the Fiat 500, that's probably its main rival, I would say, as these cars, well, since I own the Abarth and I've put it side by side with each other, they're pretty much almost the same size, almost the same amount of space, and well, obviously due to it being an Abarth, it would be kind of unfair to go over the engine and stuff like that. But for a regular Fiat 500 with a 1.2, I would say they're very similar indeed. It's mainly just preference to the style and, well, I suppose the interior and all that type of stuff as well, because in terms of the engine, the MPG, the storage and stuff like that, they're mainly the same car and mainly have the same positives too. Obviously, it just depends which one, like I said, you'd want to go for instead. As well, the Citroen C1 actually did get a facelift around 2011, 2012, and it looks really, really nice. It's got little spotlights on the side of the bumper. It's got, well, as I said, a facelift and looks really, really cool indeed. But even the, pre-facelift version of this car still looks really cool. As we've, walked around the outside and had a look, it looks really, really great. I really dig this car and its style. And as for the Fiat 500, obviously, me being the Abarthisti and all that stuff, I'll always adore the Fiat 500 and Abarth. But I would say even the Citroen C1 is a fantastic competitor against the 500 in terms of styling. Obviously, like I said many, many times beforehand, and probably keep on saying, it's just preference. Now, in terms of city driving and stuff like that, again, both the same, both fantastic cars. I would probably say that the Citroen C1 is a bit of a softer ride actually compared to the Fiat 500, and definitely compared to the Abarth. I think any car really will probably be a lot softer than an Abarth, because it feels like you're probably dipping your tyres into the middle of the planet when driving that thing. But in terms of this car, it's such a lovely smooth ride, and yeah, I'd absolutely recommend it to anyone that wants a lovely, nice, smooth cruiser. And yeah, does it beat the Fiat 500? I would say it's probably a tie, because there isn't any really main competitors out there for this car apart from the Igo and the 108, which is the exact same car. So in terms of a main competitor, the Fiat 500, which yeah, that is pretty much all of the competitors and, well, the comparisons really. Now, what's my overall review of this car? I absolutely love it. I think it's a really, really cool little car to go for. It's cheap, it's cheerful, and it's just a really, really nice car to go for anyway. I mean, the reliability is fantastic. Like I've said, 190,000 miles and not one problem has occurred. You get some little bits here and there, but hey, for the age and the mileage, it's an absolute trooper, and it's done so well up to now. I mean, this used to be going up to London every single day, back and here and there, back again. It's crazy the amount of miles it's done and the amount of journeys it's taken, but for it to still be sat here today running like nothing's ever happened is absolutely crazy. And yeah, I'd recommend it to anyone who needs a car like this. And overall, space, ride, styling, and, well, everything else is an absolute 10 out of 10. And you could probably pick one of these up for about, I don't know, the market's obviously gone weird for all the cars, but I would probably say 800 to 1200 quid, you could pick yourself up a really, really nice clean example. Now, I will probably do another video in the future going over what we've done to this car and all the little mods and bits we've done. Well, actually not mods really, just little bits that we've cleaned up and changed to make this look factory fresh. Because, hey, it doesn't take a lot at all. It doesn't even take a lot of money to get a car looking like brand new. So, but yeah, we'll go over that in the future. For now, absolutely, definitely would recommend this car. You should definitely buy one of these for sure. Definitely the Citroen, because it's just fantastic. It's a great little all-around car. City, motorway, even on the motorway, there's no problem for this car at all. Picks up, gets to 70 easily, and even it can even overtake cars with no problem and then just straight back down again. So everything about this car is just great. I really, really rate it. And I'm not just saying that because it's my friend's car. I'm saying that because it is genuinely a really, really good car. And he sat next to me right now. And I'm not saying this because he might knock me out for saying something negative about it. I just genuinely think, from someone who's a car person, it's a really great car. So yeah, that's pretty much everything today, guys. I wouldn't want to go over anything else, because I might say that for future video, like I said, or I might be repeating myself. But I think I've covered everything, really. I mean, in terms of reviewing the car itself, it's pretty much done. Like I said at the beginning, and the interior section as well, it's a simple, really, really good car. It doesn't overcomplicate itself, and hey, it is what it is. It's just a nice little runaround. So yeah, that's everything for today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed today's review, because hey, it's all good reviewing Aston Martins and Lamborghinis and stuff, but how many people are actually going to be able to afford and buy one of those cars? You want to know information about cars that you might actually be able to buy, and you might actually want to know stuff about your own car that you may have not known before. So I really hope I helped you I really hope that I helped you today, guys. There it is. I thought I was going to have one video without a stutter or a mistake, but it's just usual, that blow bar fashion. But anyway, hit that bell, like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the future. Have a good one.